Next, we will have BMLS.
Good evening, everyone. It is indeed my great honor to be presenting today at this World Peace Conference, a stage where we all are striving towards ensuring global sustainable peace, justice, and reconciliation. The topic that our team has chosen for today's presentation is challenges in achieving justice in post conflict societies, specifically dealing with the case of Jammu and Kashmir. This is a collaborative effort by our entire team members, and we are representing BMLS, which is Vinayaka Missions Law School. I'm Saromita Kumar, a first year BA LLB student from BMLS. Let me quickly walk you through the table of contents and agenda for today's presentation. I'll begin with methodology and literature review, which we used for our paper. Following which, I'll give a quick introduction with regards to the 4 Indo-Pakistan wars that took place. Then we'll try to understand the current state of affairs at Jammu and Kashmir. Following which, we'll move to the heart of today's presentation, which is identifying the challenges in achieving justice in post-conflict Jammu and Kashmir. Then we'll explore a few scholar comments, and finally we'll end with the conclusion. As a law student, our primary goal, duty, and responsibility is to ensure that justice is accessible and is delivered to each and every one of the citizens, and that too specifically to those whose rights have already been violated, which is why I take great pride in choosing this topic and presenting this paper before you all. The methodology which we used for today's research was qualitative research. We relied extensively on non-numerical data and analyzed those. We studied a variety of lectures, scholar comments, and all those to gather our data and present this paper before you all. We relied extensively on literature review. Ms. Brinda Grover's lecture named From Legal Immunity to Impunity helped us in identifying the challenges in post-conflict Jammu and Kashmir. And Mr. Lawrence Ziring's book, Pakistan in the 20th Century, helped us to gather data with regards to the Indo-Pakistan wars that took place. To understand the present, it is very much important to have a good knowledge about the past. Jammu and Kashmir has been central to 4 Indo-Pakistan wars till now. The first war which took place was in the year 1947 to 48. It was the first Kashmir War. The second war was the second Kashmir War. And the third war was in the year 1971, which was the Bangladesh Liberation War. Finally, the most recent war took place in the year 1999, which was the Kargil War. Let me quickly run through each of these wars and explain their significance in shaping Jammu and Kashmir's conflict. The first war, which took place in the year 1947, was during the time of partition between India and Pakistan. This war ended in a UN-mediated ceasefire, and also line of control was established post this conflict. The second war, which took place, was in the year 1965. This war again ended in a ceasefire and the formation of the Tashkent Agreement. However, no proper resolution was formulated post this war. The third war, which took place, was in the year 1971, which was primarily focused on Bangladesh's liberation, which was then East Pakistan. India won decisively in this war. And finally, the 1999 Kargil War is a very famous war which took place, wherein Pakistanis infiltrated into Indian territory and India retaliated. Again, this war too ended under enormous international diplomatic pressure. Now that we have a fair understanding of the past, let's move on to the present and try to understand the current state of affairs at Jammu and Kashmir. In the year 2019, Article 370, which gave a special status to Jammu and Kashmir, was abrogated. Before that, Jammu and Kashmir was a single state, but post that, Jammu and Kashmir as a state was divided into two union territories. One is Ladakh and the other one is Jammu and Kashmir. While there have been several developments in infrastructure and tourism, there are also some serious concerns and challenges which needs to be addressed. Like for example, marginalized communities are facing a lot of challenges. There is an uneven access to justice. Increased military presence is also a serious concern, and all these concerns must be properly addressed to ensure that peace truly prevails. Now let's move on to the heart of today's presentation, which is identifying the challenges in achieving justice in post-conflict Jammu and Kashmir. We have categorized the challenges into three categories: legal, political, and economic challenges. I'll be delving into each of these dimensions in detail. The first type of challenge is the legal challenges. The legal system in Jammu and Kashmir itself hinders justice to a large extent. For example, the AFSPA Act, which stands for the Armed Forces Special Powers Act, basically gives armed forces sweeping powers, and they are allowed to arrest people without warrants. So, this gives civilians a lack of trust, and civilians suffer a lot because of this. Another act is the PSA, which stands for Public Safety Act, which allows law enforcing bodies to detain civilians without any warrants and also without any trials. They are detained for several months and sometimes even years without even getting a proper chance to voice out their opinion and tell their side of the story. There is also issues with regards to the justice, with regards to uneven access to justice to the civilians at Jammu and Kashmir, because there are delays in the justice system and there is poor legal aid as well, which adds to this issue. And the most important issue here is that there is a lack of a proper and a formal truth and reconciliation process for the civilians of Jammu and Kashmir, which is actually quite unlike and different from other post-conflict societies such as South Africa. Moving on to the political challenges, right from the year 2019 up until 2024, Jammu and Kashmir did not have proper elections, and Jammu and Kashmir was ruled under the central government. This is a primary issue because the citizens were not properly represented by the government, were not properly represented, and their voice was not put forth. Another challenge is also the economic challenges. Any country at war will definitely face economic challenges. Same is the case with Jammu and Kashmir, which has been central to around 4 Indo-Pakistan wars. Several scholars have commented on this issue as well. To conclude, peace is not just the absence of war, but the presence of justice. A country at war, um, but where justice is ensured, will definitely be at peace. Whenever justice is present, peace automatically follows. And this is not just the case of Jammu and Kashmir, but the case of every other post conflict society there is. Thank you all for listening patiently. She is one of my team members, Stella.
See, when it comes to identifying challenges in achieving justice, the foremost or the upfront thing that comes to the mind is acknowledgement. Was this mentioned anywhere in your presentation? In any of the challenges? Acknowledgement.
No, sir, unfortunately we did not, but we'll mention it and work.
And acknowledgement has to come from listening to the both sides of the communities involved in any case that we're talking about, not just limited to J&K. So like you listen to both the sides, or if there are more, even then, listen to everyone, and then comes the building bridges, not burning, by acknowledging in the first place and not denying.
It's a good presentation, no doubt, but taking a little different than what my friend has said. You need two hands to clap, right? You can't clap with one hand. And that goes for peace also. So when he said acknowledgement, the other, at least one of the two, I'm not mentioning any names here, somebody has to acknowledge that there is a problem, right? Otherwise, you'll be left with nothing. It's just not the case with Jammu and Kashmir. You take the Ukraine conflict, for example, right? Does Russia or Ukraine acknowledge that there is a problem? I don't think so. You know, that's why what happens, as a journalist, I can tell you, is that these two countries will keep talking, and they'll keep talking, and they'll keep talking. See, because basically nobody is willing to acknowledge that there is a problem. And when you acknowledge there is a problem, that means indirectly or directly, you will have to find a solution. Okay, that's the problem with India, Pakistan. That's the problem with all conflicts all over the world. Thank you.
Thank you.
I do not have a question, but I do appreciate the way you have presented, especially the economic and political concerns. It was a neat presentation.
Thank you, team. Next, we have team from SAS.
Every war is a war against children. The quote said by Egerton Jebb. A very good evening to everyone. It's a precious moment for our team to present a very crucial and the most we are here to present with you today about the topic of impact of armed conflict on children. Is it audible everyone now? Yeah. Okay, shall I begin from the start? If no issues. Okay. Every war is a war against children, said by Egerton Jebb. The quotes highlights that the children are the primary victims of the war and the conflicts. Today, our team will be presenting you the topic impact of armed conflict on children. First of all, what is an armed conflict? There are two types of armed conflict. International armed conflict, the conflict between two countries or more than two countries. Example like Russia-Ukraine war, which recently happened, and non-international armed conflict, the conflict between internally in a country like Taliban overtaking the Afghanistan government, which happened. In both the cases, the children are the primary victims, who are the most vulnerable groups who gets affected. Okay, now out of the box for a moment. In most of our homes, our mom cooks us the food, right? Yeah, food which is very delicious and which cannot be rematched by any of the chefs in the world. And our parents are our backbones for our development, and they work hardly for our success. But not in the case of other countries. In the country South Sudan, where more than 100 children who lost their parents were forcibly recruited by the defense forces to work as a chef, cooks, and bodyguards for their commanders. And in Somalia, the country where more than thousands of children were recruited by Al-Shabaab, a force to combat in civil wars. Is it right in the age where children should hold toys and pens, they are forced to carry guns, weapons, and fight? Is it right? To discuss about these impacts, we have our team, which will be discussing the impacts of the armed conflicts. Now, my teammate will continue.
We first discuss about physical and psychological trauma. In Iraq and Afghanistan, the most common physical injuries children endure are the results of blast and bullet wounds. Unlike adults, children's bodies are more fragile. They are likely to sustain multiple injuries. This includes burns, severe head and neck injuries, and penetrating head trauma. The system review of over 8,000 war-exposed children revealed staggering figure. 47 were suffer from PTSD called post-traumatic stress disorder, and 43 are show of depression. 47 exhibit symptoms of anxiety. Children of old 6 to 8 years are not spared. They often display increased anxiety, fear, excessive crying, temper tantrums, and sleep disturbances. Many show psychotic symptoms like stomachache and interrupted irregular bowel movements, and significant changes in behavior like unusual aggressiveness, and unusual withdrawn. PTSD, the response of extreme stress and trauma. We can see the two unique symptoms in PTSD are derealization and depersonalization. Derealization is the feeling that world around them is not real. Depersonalization is disconnected from their own body or identity. Next, we look into disruption of education. According to UN reports and the study titled Education and Armed Conflict, Protection, Prevention and Access, consequences of war on education is alarming. In 2021, 5% in 2021, UNO reports 5% increase in attacks on schools and hospitals. 475 attacks on schools, 299 incidents of military use of school buildings. In 2020 to 2021, over 9,000 students and educators were arrested, abducted, and injured or killed during the attack on educational buildings. Schools are not only the buildings, they are sanctuaries of hope. But due to these conflicts, they were changed into military bases, recruitment centers, and targets of ideological violence. The result is complete breakdown of learning environment. So trauma and violence interrupt cognitive development and social growth of the children. It leads to loss of support, loss of structure, loss of hope. Thus, economic loss is not only the economic loss. It affects directly the children's future. So children lost their future. So pain of the displacement and family separation is not, we can't tolerate. So my teammate will explain about the next.
Displacement and family separation. The term child displacement covers a wide range of circumstances and situations which forces children to permanently flee their country. For example, the displacement have two types. First one is internal displacement and the other one is external displacement, which means internal displacement in the sense where the children's forced to flee the country within their border of the countries, and whereas external displacement in the sense where the children were forced to leave the country outside the border of the country, which means the children were asking for refugee in the neighboring countries. Then in armed conflicts, more than 43.3 million children were forced to leave the country due to conflict and violences, and more than 17.5 million children were forced to faced by asylum. Thank you.
As we now move to the loss of identity and cultural roots, armed conflicts have devastating consequences, especially for children. The loss of identity causes child recruitment and displacement. Most of children were recruited. Over 5,000 children recruited by the armed groups in DRCC. And impact of education and identity, 1,400 schools have been destroyed. Loss of cultural anchors. The prominent example I have given there, they gave me a new name. I forgot how to pray in my language. This causes a loss of identity and their ancestral roots. And psychological identity and fragmentation. 68% of integrated child soldiers report identity confusion.
Thank you, team. The floor is open to jury members.
I think you have brought out the central aspect of any conflict. Now, the worst affected in any conflict are not soldiers. They are women and children. You along with children, you have to mention women also. These are the two worst affected. You look at the Gaza today, and I don't have to explain it any further. That's what it is. At the same time, you have to ask yourself a fundamental question. Is there any way out of this? Is there any way out of this? You have the United Nations, you have the Security Council, but they are not able to do anything. That's the worst part of it. That is something that you will have to point out in any presentation wherever you are. Thank you.
Thank you for your suggestion, sir.
I think I really like the way that every member of your team made a presentation and they had something to say about the
Yes, ma'am.
topic.
We have to conclude some of the points of late, ma'am.
Sorry.
My teammate wants to share about the conclusion part, ma'am.
Oh,
Shall we?
still your
Yeah, ma'am.
presentation is
Yeah,
left.
ma'am.
Okay,
Yes,
please
sir.
go
Yes, ma'am.
ahead. Okay. But I like the fact that you attempted to include everybody, is what I'm saying. And also the fact that there are several things that you try to put in data through. And I think we both were discussing about how you should be showing your sources. If you've gone through the labor of finding data and pulling it out, it helps. The school attacks, the number of school attacks, etc. Where was this from, or which schools are you talking about? Those things, if you just mention in your slide, then you can talk about the numbers and people can correlate with the slides what you're talking about. The third thing that I want to tell you is, add on what would have made your presentation even more better is if you can classify or identify these impacts in terms of immediate short term and long term. So any war, any high intensity fatality situation, for example, the First World War, Second World War, we are still looking at impact from those wars now, today, second generation, third generation, especially when you're discussing psychological impact, social impact, and so on and so forth. There is a lot of rehabilitation related issues that people from highly, violent past, even if it is a few generations back, you carry that history through your ancestors, you carry that history through your parents. That is the stories you receive from them that colors the way that you see the world, isn't it? So how you look at the world will definitely make a difference as to what you do with your life. So that again completely changes the picture. If you're talking about neurobiology of what conflict does to a child, it completely takes away their future abilities to form language, to form good relationships. There's intense lack of trust in the world and how the world is actually not a safe place for me anymore. And therefore, the other things also that you mentioned, identity confusion, etc. So it's more of a interconnected picture. There are a lot of things that are predisposing factors for a child's health, and that goes on well into adolescence and adulthood. So I think you made a really genuine attempt, and I really liked it, the way that you presented it. I think you can build, if you put in a little bit more effort, it can be a very good paper that you can present in other conferences and take it further and retain your uh, equal participation and teamwork. So good job. Thank you.
Also, I would like to share something with respect to trauma that you presented over here. There is often one overlooked aspect which is known as intergenerational trauma, which stems when children in conflict zones undergo through this trauma, and which lasts not just for their entire life but is passed down from generation to generation. That is also something which you should focus on when you're discussing PTSD. Overall, it was a very good presentation otherwise. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, first thing, may I know why did you choose this topic for presentation? What made you choose this topic, this area?
Yes, ma'am. We as a team discussed about various topics which was given in the conference list. And it's my friend, I should mention the name, Priti Jasmine, the person in my team who suggested and tell us the stories which happened recently in Gaza and Israel. She was the one who shedded a light to choose this topic. And because children are the future of the world, if they are educated and they are just nourished, so there will be peace and development in the world. So this is the reason for choosing the topic.
Okay, all right. So apart from this presentation, what will be your contribution to the children's society as a team? Like, it's a very, the reason I'm asking is, it shouldn't stop here with the presentation. So in real time, if you haven't thought about it, you can think about doing something to the future, to the society, especially to the children, by contributing the knowledge, not only the knowledge, but the knowledge that you have. That would be my, humble suggestion.
Thank you, ma'am.
One more question for you to take home is, where do displaced children go? So if you're talking about just being here in and around your campus, are there any facilities where you can make a field visit along with your faculty and go check out who are children in these homes, whether it's observation homes or remand homes or any other facilities by the government or otherwise? There are facilities for taking care of children, shelter homes, etc. Ask this question and go there and visit, and I think some of those linkages will become clearer to you. So where do displaced children go is a very interesting question.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, team. Next, we have team from SAHS.
Good evening, one and all present here. It's a very honor to present this before all the dignitaries. As of 2024, the ACLED conflict index reported a staggering 25% increase in political violence events compared to 2023. What do you say? Will it increase or what? What will be the best solution? Welcome you all for the psychological approach in Conclave of Peace and Reconciliation. So thank you for making this platform for us. Thank you. Studies is okay. Thank you for making this platform for us. We are very grateful because in this 10th edition of Peace and Reconciliation, we are very grateful to do this project because without something, we cannot be anything. So this day, I want to share you very crucial, something very crucially, and I want you to think about it. Studies estimate that unresolved or place conflicts alone cost busyness billions annually in lost productivity and legal fees globally. Beyond the economic impact, the emotional and social costs every day conflicts erode trust and social cohesion within our communities. Individual. So why do we need to consider this in the atom level? Even you give the medication to the body, it will not work directly on the organ, not even in the tissues. It will directly go to at the cellular level and it will start reacting. So better to make agreements. So we made this topic at beyond treaties. Better to make agreements and better to make peace treaties. More than that, if we concentrate on ourselves and if we concentrate on the individual, we can create a big change. This is the matter I want to say. The national peace extends beyond political agreements to individual and community conflict management. So our central theme is true and lasting national peace is built upon the foundation of effectively resolving conflicts at the grassroots level, individual level, among its people. நம்ம எதை செய்தாலும் எவ்வளவு செய்கிறோன்றது இல்லை, நம்ம எதை செஞ்சாலும் எப்படி செய்கிறோன்றது ரொம்ப முக்கியமான விஷயம். Nowadays our actions exceeds words, but is it creating peace? That's what we need to look about. Our actions exceeds words sometime, but today anything that born of justice, anything that born of peace cultivates peace. If it not, it produces just temporary solutions. Today we have reviewed some of our literature and we want to give, I made a triangle that you can see. The peace studies and conflict resolution are interdisciplinary fields that have evolved significantly over the years. They are interrelated. So the scholars like Johan Galtung distinguish between the negative peace and the positive peace. Actually, we say peace is the absence of violence and the presence of social justice and harmony. Yes, of course. But still, we can neglect something, but we need to pursue something to attain the peace, that which is our goal. So are we at that point? Are we recruiting what we are up to? And are we reflecting ourselves daily? That will make this paper, because I invited you to this psychological approach so that we will be best in doing this. Also, while we are reviewing some of the literatures, we found something that what are the hindrance point, the limitations of top down peace building. So this only emphasizes the disconnection and also neglecting local issues creates the national violence. The next one emphasizes the family's role on individuals, how the individuals are a unit of the community, same like the families are unit of the nation. So if the family members are good in equipping an individual, majority of the conflicts, the crimes, everything will be lowered. So we are reviewing this, and also we are moving. We will be discussing it further. Effectiveness of grassroots reflection initiative. We have 6 points over this: empowerment and ownership, yearly intervention, prevention, which we will be discussing later. And also along with this, I want to have a link between the local and the national peace. Our human body, our human in being with existence has 3 parts, as we know. The first one is the flesh with all 5 senses. So we know that the body, the soul, it has the will, the emotion, and the mind. As this is a psychological approach, we are concentrating on this realm, the soul realm, so that we can promote peace. Another one is the spiritual realm, so that connects with the God. So today, the cognitive biases such as in-group favoritism and perception fuel local tensions, if it left unaddressed, can be exploited nationally. Intense local emotions like fear and anger can trigger cycles of violence that transcend local boundaries. So what is the methodology we use here is conceptual analysis. It involves analyzing existing research on peace building. Example, I already told that Galton, he's a scholar, we analyze that, and also very practical example, that is Kudumbashri initiative. We did a case study on that, which is an initiative in Kerala. It produces women empowerment. So each and every woman empowered in a society, community, they become very blessing to the society. A particular information, if I need to say, in the Wayanad conflict, in the Wayanad disaster, this team alone, the women empowerment team alone, they contributed around 22 crores to the CM of Kerala. See, a personal individual, if they transform, they can transform the community. That's what I need to say. Yeah. So we are, as the time is very crucial, I am going a little fast. So how can, let me put you a solution. For you and your neighbor, there is a conflict between the noise. When you are listening or meditating or sleeping something, he is putting a sound bar on your head and it is like a booming. What will you do? Will you directly call the police or do something? Make it a conflict. Better, shall I tell something? If you get a box of laddu and go to his house, treat him. And if you say this, this really concerns me, would you like to do that? So what I need to say is, personal responsibilities empowers when you are in the peaceful condition. So how that much is the peace is essential in an individual to transform the community. Without this, we cannot go for the national peace and the national conflicts. Everything starts with an individual. Ownership and responsibility automates when peace prevails in an individual. So it is necessary to look in this realm. Early intervention and prevention, addressing conflicts at their nation stage. A lot of schools nowadays, they are implementing mediation programs. If there are 2 members, they are fighting, they are making them sit, the students, and they are making them to be open-minded and share their perspectives. Wow, what a good idea they had. So today in colleges and everywhere where if they are in, going to court may produce some judgment and you can live, one party can live peacefully. But the mediation can make both the parties leave the hall very peacefully. So what do we aim for? Do we aim for judgment or do we aim for the peace? If we are consider about the peace, then we need to go for the mediation. The building empathy and understanding. The conflict resolution skills foster this restorative justice circle, which is very essential. So do you think will it be effective? I can say yes. Conflict resolution skills. it produces empathy. What is empathy? Putting ours in other shoes. Solves 50% of our problems. So this will be effective when it is at the individual level. Culturally relevant and sustainable solutions, as we all know, local solutions are often better tailored to the specific context and therefore more likely to be accepted and sustained by the community. And also strengthening social fabric and resilience.
Time's up.
Yeah, give me 1 more minute. I'm finishing it. Thank you for the piece. Okay, successful. That's okay. Sorry. I'm so concerned about the paper. Okay, successful conflict resolutions build trust, cooperation, and sense of shared identity, making communities more resilient to the future. So today, the local solutions are better than the community solutions. Why am I saying this? One ruler, they can easily put a rule by saying, asking the one party. But when every parties come together and work for a single matter, there will be a solution that will be coming out of peace. So the peace that cannot be coming out from outside, that cannot be from external. It should come from within. If it is not from within, it will not exist for a longer time. So what is the solution that we are giving? Can you say it right? Yeah. What is the solution we are giving? Today, individual psychological, integrating psychological incomes and outcomes and personal transformation that will bring positive social interactions, belonging, security, purpose, and well-being. So this is a conference where we are looking for a great reconciliation and peace, which is necessary for every individual. When every individuals are in peace, the nation will rest. And when we are in rest, do you know our productivity level? That is the high peak level we will be in productive. So today I want to ultimately emphasize on this one. The internal shift in values and behaviors leads to more compassionate and constructive interactions, creating a ripple effect that contributes to a more peaceful and lovely world. I have lost 6 points. I will tell only the topics. Investing in conflict resolution education. Education is the better thing. Education in schools, that will be the making big changes in the community. For example, in schools, two members, they are fighting over a chicken. We are speaking about the peace, but when we go out, someone stamps, we will be quarreling, right? And we will, if in the biryani, if will be one leg piece left, we will lost our peace. Is it true or not? So today, practically in schools, the teachers, if sits in front and another teacher sits, if they show the sympathy and they break the biryani or what they have into two, the same the schools, the students do.
Thank you, team.
Thank you. And second, I'm just the topics. Sorry for that, but truly, establishing community mediation centers and structures. This will be problem solving mediation between the counselors and everyone. So the initiative that we can have is we can have a medical staffs promoting this, the promoting and restorative justice practices. Enhanced perspective is fostering the relationship. Truly, I want to thank the team because this 24 paper that that presentation is of research that cannot be done alone, because they have effectiveness and also the solution. They worked a lot on examples, the current examples. I really thank the team. Justice that cannot be promoted to peace. If it is not promoting justice, it is not promoting us to peace, then it will promote us to fear, which will fail soon. Supporting local peace initiatives is one of our solutions. Fostering a culture of dialogue and empathy. See, I can teach for 7 hours and speak about peace for 7 hours here, and I go home quarrel with my parents. That's the worst part I have. I cannot be an individual like that hypocrite. So the peace starts from within. Culture of dialogue and empathy. What you monitor in you? Are you monitoring the inputs that is coming in and going out? What you see, you will reflect. If you are not watching the good cinemas, if you are not watching what is going inside of you, you will not end up good. So the matter is to be in the good perspective, be with good perspective friends. The last thing I want to conclude is integrating conflict sensitivity into development programs. The conclusion is, I reached the conclusion. Thank you for that. Thank you for holding your peace.
Thank you, team. The floor is open to jury members.
I like the very first slide of yours, the introduction, the first slide, can you just play only the first page? The first thing. The title, in fact, the title first. So the very first letter P has a heart in it that says it, love is peace. I don't know if you have intentionally done that, but it's really good. And second thing I would like to appreciate you is for never stop saying right things, even somebody stops you. That's what you have proved. And instead of focusing on the first, the literature review and all that, you could have given the last 6 points because they are,
Very
key
essential.
elements of it.
Yes.
That's all from my side.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I noticed that since you're using the term psychological approach, so I found that this was deviating from psychological approach per se. You were talking about a lot of other things as well, which are important in this cultivating peace. But specifically, when you're focusing towards psychological approach, so the most important thing in conflict zones is psychological first aid, which is given to stop the escalation of conflicts. So include that as well.
Thank you, sir. Actually, we have annotated a point that the cognitive approach towards the
I did
peace.
read,
Yeah,
the
I
cognitive
actually
bias.
missed the point. The matter is the cognitive biases, like the will, the emotion, and the mindset. If it needs to be faster to be a peace, then we can do a powerful thing. For that, the education and the last 4 points that fosters that. Sorry for leaving that point. Thank you, sir.
I think you have done a great job, tremendous job of covering so many things. I think you wanted to say even more things, and I think I really appreciated the effort that you have in relating the content to your peers and classmates and friends. You picked examples that were relevant to your life and to everybody's life. But the question is this: what were you trying to say exactly? And what Kaustubh has also tried to explain to you is psychological approach to conflict resolution. But what you were actually describing is what an individual can do on their level for conflict transformation. Okay. Psychological approach means a lot of different things. You also included community approaches, what Kudumbashri did, what such and such organization did to actually contribute in a difficult situation. Now, that was a flood situation that you were describing, not necessarily a conflict situation. Again, difference. So, psychological first aid in a flood situation, very different from psychological first aid in a active war zone or a riot or some other thing. So, I think you were trying to include a lot of things in that psychological approach, but you can limit. You can always limit. You can always choose what you care about the most in any presentation, and you will not be judged harshly for it. You can stick to that topic which is closest to your heart.
Thank you, ma'am.
And lots of research, tremendous research. I looked at certain terms, and I think that I will go back and research a little bit more about it. So thank you. Yeah, psychological income was a concept that I was not very familiar with. So I will go back and do my homework. Thank you for that. Good job.
Can I add on input? So as you said, the Vayanadu, the Kudumbashri and the personal individual level, it is from a different, more than a psychological approach. So how I core integrated it is one individual in his mind, he's determining that I am ready to promote peace through something. So finance is the biggest barrier to many of them to live. And I'm in healthcare. Many of the people, why do I need to go? I have no money. One of the reasons they say. So how I related that is according to the finance chain, so that it will be good. So what they did, the Kudumbashri initiative means the woman, they empowered personally. So they have the good approach towards the community because of the good approach that is which is a psychological behavior, that is a good attitude. They contributed to the Wayanad thing. So because of that, I put that example there.
It's a good example for disaster management.
Thank you.
I'm just saying that's disaster management. This is conflict resolution.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, team. Next, we have members from. Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. All right, let me be very quick. There is one thing we forget before the start of any conflict. You know, just before we start any conflict, there is one option always available to decision makers that they never exercise or they rarely exercise. That option number one is do nothing.
Yeah,
I'm serious.
negative.
That in any crisis decision making, the first option on the table given to any leader is do nothing. Meaning what? If you do something, you will precipitate it. That's what leads to conflict. So always keep in mind, do nothing. Even in personal life, that's my advice. Okay.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir. So next we have our members from Department of Management, and kindly request the participants to adhere to the timeline and give everyone a fair chance to present their work.
Before we begin, let us ask you all a quick question. Have you ever participated or supported any online campaign for any social cause? Also, have you ever thought how a simple post, a hashtag, or even a short video on social media can reach millions and even create a movement? Yes, that's the power of social media today, a tool that can break silence, build peace, and bring in justice. A very good evening, everyone present here. I am Gayatri, and with me is my teammate and co-presenter, Miss Aarti. These are my team members, and today we are here to present on a very relevant and powerful topic, the role of social media in promoting peace and justice. Peace and justice are considered the foundation of every civilized society. They are essential for building a safe, equal, and respectful world for everyone. In today's modern world, one of the most powerful tool we all use today is social media. It has changed the way people connect, share ideas, and raise their voices on social issues. For example, over 4.9 billion people use social media across the world today. So, this huge reach gives social media a very big role in promoting peace and justice and creating awareness. Now, moving on to the next part of our presentation, digital platforms as catalyst for peace. Social media platforms like WhatsApp, Instagram, Twitter, and Telegram are not just used for personal communication, but also they play a big role in promoting peace. In many NGOs and international organizations, they actively use these platforms for their campaigns, peace talks, and spreading messages of unity. And for example, the United Nations peacekeeping missions actively use Facebook Lives and Twitter Spaces to provide their regular updates and to inform people about their peace efforts happening worldwide. A report also says that 73% of conflict related awareness actually began on social media platforms like this. Now let's see how social media empowers marginalized voices. There are many people like minorities, refugees, and other communities whose problems not even shown in news or discussed openly. But through social media, they are able to share their stories, struggles, and opinions with the world. Some famous movements like Black Lives Matter and protest in Iran. These movements became very powerful because social media helped to spread their messages everywhere. Now, let's see about combating misinformation and hate. Fake news and hate speech are really dangerous because they can create fear, confusion, and even violence in society. But there are platforms like Alt News, Boom Live, and fact checking. These platforms helps people by checking the truth behind the news and social media posts. And For example, during COVID pandemic, Twitter flagged over 3 lakh tweets for sharing false information. Similarly, Facebook also uses AI technology to find and remove the harmful content. Now, moving forward, let's explore how social media helps in connecting people and building global communities.
Social media has turned the world into one big village where people from different corners of the globe connect, collaborate, and care. Social media connects people across borders, which make them virtual communities based on their shared interest, goals, and values. Over 67% of youth feels connected to global causes through social media, which fosters the cross cultural understanding and empathy. Users can participate in international conversation and support to global causes through social media. With great powers come greater responsibility. Social media can promote peace, but, but misuse can lead to harm, hate, and division. Social media gives us the power to influence, inform, and inspire. But with the power, it comes with a responsibility to use it wisely, truthfully, and ethically. In today's digital world, what we post, share, and engage with can shape opinion, trigger actions, and even cause harm. That's why ethical behavior and digital responsibility is important for maintaining peace and justice. Challenges like privacy concern, data misuse, mental health risk, trolling uh, can lead to conflicts in the social media, which makes the importance of digital literacy and critical thinking of users. There are some cases which highlight the impact of social media, one of which is COVID pandemic. When the world went into lockdown, the internet opened up. Social media is not just a place for likes and shares, it also a place to gather people and to promote peace and justice. Next. Social media is considered as a double edged sword which has two sides, one of which acts in a positive way and the another one acts as a negative way. I would like to conclude my presentation with a quote which says, technology alone won't change the world. The people who are using with purpose can change the world. Thank you.
We sincerely thank our Dean Sir and HOD Sir for giving this opportunity, and thank you all for your kind attention.
Thank you, team. The floor is open to jury members.
You could have added a little more examples from social media, like screenshot of things that have been done. But I think you have a little deviated from the topic. It was not actually about peace you were talking about. In general, you were talking about social media. I don't think much of it was about peace. It was in general. So you can focus a little more on peace in your next work.
I also have the concern, the similar one that ma'am shared, that specifically we're talking about here promoting peace and justice. So case studies diverted towards those specific examples would actually be more beneficial towards this presentation. And also you talked about mental health risks like social media. So like, can you share examples of how it poses as mental health risks? What kind of risks are we facing?
Um, in social media, there is a wide platform. So in case anything happens related to any person or any comment by any person related to any social cause or any religious point, it will trigger people, which leads to conflicts in the social media, or and it causes the person mentally in, and it may lead to anxiety or depression.
See, this is your domain. You live and breathe social media. So your real life examples have to be, I mean, a little bit more real, you know. So there can be justice for Wale campaigns are there, you know, several. And then there's also about trolling is what you're exactly talking about. So in your classrooms, in your actual real lives, have you intervened? Has social media really caused you a risk, or has it helped you go for justice? Can also be a lived experience example. You don't necessarily have to go and look at news and all of that. You are using it on an everyday basis. We are also very interested in what you think about it, right? So for a lot of people, their social media accounts is as personal as their personal room. They create it, they use it, they post every day religiously, they use it as a mental health journal. Many of them, they circulate posts and content which they feel they cannot actually talk about in public, but on their social media, because you can pick and choose who is part of your community, who is part of your circle, you can make that into a safe space also. A lot of people use social media to actually address specific activist issues, specific advocacy issues, talk about gender orientation, sexual orientation, their political beliefs, not because they can do that in real life, but because social media makes it possible. So just in your examples, I am sure that you are coming across this content in your feed on an everyday basis actually. So in your presentation, it will give it more weight and truth when you actually talk about what are the issues that you are facing, right? And what do you feel, what is your opinion, is something that we are really interested in, right? Not just not just for the sake of presentation. What do you actually think? What do you actually believe is the power of that? Because there is a clear difference in the way you have been presenting about stuff that you care about. You know, it shows in the presentation. Your voice is more bold. You pick and choose. I liked a few of the articulations that you use. Some of the words that you used were very good, very close to your heart. So I can see that difference when you have to, okay, conclusion, middle, beginning, end. But when you talk about things that you're passionate about, it really shows. So I think ma'am was also trying to say that in the given topic, there your understanding of justice might be wildly different from what we've been speaking since morning. You've been hearing politics, you've been hearing religion, you've been hearing so many different things, right? Sources that are so ancient that we can't even conceptualize. But you and I are alive right now. You can talk about its relevance right now. You can take that approach also. I think it'll make for a very interesting presentation if you give it another shot. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
What happens is sometimes
Yeah,
when you get yeah, what generally happens is you tend to get overwhelmed by the material. That's a danger we do not articulate. You don't know what to highlight, what to ignore, and that is also the challenge. Do you simplify beyond a caricature, for example, or do you leave the complexity just enough so that people are piqued or intrigued? And it is not a good idea to pour all your insights into one fell swoop. That is the, because the uh, people who read it also get overwhelmed, especially if it is very painful and your experiences are very, very, rollful. So I think that you should, as she was saying, you need to keep on working on it. And there is no final answer on such questions, if I may say that, because they are continually evolving problems, and it is your energy and integrity that is most welcome in this dialogue.
And I want to congratulate you all for that.
Thank you, team. Next, we have the winners from Innovation Challenge will take the stage to present their winning pitches, each team within 3 minutes time slot. The first on the stage is AVMC Pondicherry.
Hello. Good evening, esteemed jury members, the audience, and my peers. With students wishing to flee soon and organizers still hoping to finish this on time, I'll try to keep this within 3 minutes, even though it was a 5-minute presentation, but it's okay, we'll finish it on time. So this is, we are basically medical students, and what we have been doing over the last 1 year is partnering up with a college to do something in AI and healthcare. So it is the dawn of AI, and what we as medical students can contribute and can actually take it out of VMRF into the world is what we are all about. So what we did is, first of all, we did a cross-sectional study on AI and healthcare. We contacted with the top 50 medical colleges all over the globe who are doing something in AI. And we understood what is the current state of it and realized the problem statement. Now, the problem statement that we are about to fix is that currently, all over the world, the universities, the higher education system is completely siloed and reactive. Now, we have had some changes in laws and legal policies over the years, the case in point being our new education policy, but all of them are still sort of structural changes that students will have more choice, students will have different ways of assessment, so students can go for more opportunities, and all that is fair, all that is required, all that is warranted. But the true revolution in its sense in education has been pending since the dawn of higher education systems. Now, what we are bringing in is that since the 2022, that is the dawn of agentic AI, we can actually transform and completely digitalize the university experience. Now, what do I mean? Please bear with me for 2 minutes as I explain what I actually mean, because it's a very, very diverse topic. So what we are about to do is, okay, so can you change this? Okay. Okay, so what we are about to do is, since universities, you have students from diverse background, either from different socioeconomic groups or neurodivergent students, and you can't actually, like, universities are trying as much as they can to tailor all their content as per a student's need. They provide support, they provide all kinds of help channels that a student can still go and opt for, but a university can still be, in reasonable terms, expected to tailor every single aspect of university life as per to every single student that is part of it. For example, in VMRF campus itself, you have more than 1,000 students enrolled in various disciplines. You can't have the same professors, same faculty, same colleges, completely personalize every single aspect of a student life. Now, with the help of our agentic AI, what we can do is we can create data sets, and we need to collect these data on our own. Now, for example, I'll just take in brief the example of this hall room. So if, for example, if the system was placed in this hall or in this college, what would happen is that our AI since morning would have been monitoring every single person's footfall in the whole day. Where are they? Where are they going? Where are they coming from? What is their basal vital statistics? What is their emotional statistics? What is their personality statistics? Collected through various models such as image recognition, behavioral analysis, vital measurements, etc., etc., etc. And once we have all these plethora of data, it becomes really easy for agentic AIs to sort of implement a lot of various tools. Like one of the examples that I would like to give is recently TX Gamma came in the picture. Now, it is completely a little different data set than what we are presenting at. But the point is that once you have such a kind of data, the AI cannot just tell. My example is also not over. I'll take 2 more minutes. Okay, so what happened is that now, what is that our AI is not telling you that you are sad, you are happy, or this is what is going to happen. Our AI is able to predict in real time that organizers, you are going to become late. This is going to take a lot of time. Students are going to get fatigued. A lot of these things will be able to tell. Similarly, for students also, this can tell that you should probably gear up one day before. You should probably gear up for a long day. You should probably have these many things read before. Or for the administrators, it can tell, okay, these sessions, they were delayed because of these reasons. You can have all sorts of data. My point being, compiled in real time, presented in real time as directive actions, not basically just this is happening. It's not a statistical present that even a class 9 Java student can do as an LMS software. That is not the point. The point is how all that can be modeled into decisive actions for the future. Now, this raises some questions, obviously, about ethics, about how is this going to be data be collected, how is it going to be processed, who all have access to data, because students itself will not want their data accessible to their faculties. That is all fair and that is all required. And how are we going to model our AI to take all these data from the users, and how is it going to process? Now, all these answers lie in what is happening already in the globe. For example, all the ethics can be solved by modeling the whole structure of it on the basis of European Union's guidelines on AI. They are the trailblazers on it, and they are coming up with good examples. Now, they might not be comprehensive, but it sets us a good ground from hitting on, okay, fine, we are doing as much as we can. Once it hits the market and once users point out, these are the reasons why I won't be joining, or these are the reasons I will be joining, we can then take into that, assimilation. And next, how is my AI going to prompt users to get the data, and how is it going to process? Well, all of that can, again, for example, I'll give the example of landscape.ai, or I'll give the example of Duolingo. So all of these, the owners of them do not know how to speak German, Spanish, or anything. For example, the CEO of Duolingo do not know how to speak German, Hindi, or English all at the same time. What they do is they get experts, they tailor all the content based on recommendations of experts, and then they present it. Same way, when we contacted the top 50 medical colleges and all over the globe who have an AI department in there, they were very much promising in their replies, and they sort of helped us understand where we need to go with it. And the first step to go about it would be to get experts. For example, for the landscape AI, they got psychologists from Duke College of England to tailor their app as to how to get users to give in their emotional feelings out, and how the AI can then help them with it like a psychologist. So that happened with the help of experts, seeing what we are also aiming to do. Now, having talked to the world leaders already in AI, and they have shown promise that what our next step is going to be pilot with a university in once, run a alpha test over there, develop a system and deploy it. And then after that, once we have a project ready, for example, it will take a cohort of students from generation 1, generation 2, generation 3, generation 4, until the graduation, to have the kind of data to be able to model it for the market. And once it is ready, then a beta test in 5 more universities, then a theta test with a complete regional, and then finally, we'll be taking it to the market. So that is all. We had multiple things to talk about, but this is the core concept of it. I'm sorry I took more than the amount of time I was given. And we welcome the questions of the jury members. Thank you so much.
So, how many roadblocks have you experienced with this project?
Roadblocks, sir, was just that coming from a medical background, the first roadblock was, how much are we actually aware, first of all, to be able to make bold statements? So the roadblock was to spend a year in the field of AI and healthcare, do research, do understanding and learning about what is actually happening in the world, what are the technologies already developed, and can we actually make the claims that we are claiming with the system? That was the first block. Since then, because we have a good mentor that our university itself provided, and with the solid support of the university, that is Arab Lividu Medical College, we have it's kind of been like, the steps of just going through with the process, enjoying the process like that.
So with this project running so far, with respect to, let's say, psychological assessment we're talking about here, because every individual is different, and there is no single psychological approach that may work for one, which may be similarly working for the other. How do you cater to that?
Yes, sir. So that is an extremely good question, sir. What we have talked in one of the cases is, for example, if let's say, if I say for 2 students, my AI is giving them, you should finish these many courses in this much hours in this week. Now, first student does it, and but he is sort of a fellow who does not like to be told, who does not like to be constantly hammered into doing something. So our AI, because of his previous analysis, would know that. So he'll be able to give it in a suggestive manner. It is a good thing that you should finish this session in this hour. It will be helpful for you if you do this at this time. The language matters. Now, for the other students, for example, like me, I would like to be told, I would like to be hammered in 5 o'clock in the morning, get up, otherwise you'll miss your morning lectures. Get up or do this work, otherwise you'll get scolding from your faculty. So now for me, the directive would change. You should wake up at 5 a.m. Otherwise, you will miss this sort of things that you have to do. Please wake up on time. Your attendance is already falling short. You must go these classes to make up for it. Now it is more directive with a constant hint of what you might miss out if you don't follow through. So this is just an example of how two different students from two different backgrounds will be given the same information, but in a personalized manner, so that two different students can use it to their boast being without being that sort of having that restrictiveness, can being told to do something. So that is the answer here.
You see, challenges may be the same for everyone, but how we act upon it is different for everyone. Again, it's not like one size fits all.
Correct, sir.
So even if somebody is being hammered or suggested in a way by AI, that could also have mental health implications on the person.
Correct, sir.
In long run also.
Correct, sir. But this example that I'm giving you is in C2. This is just very like boiled down to core concept. Now this will be ventured out into so many things that I can't cover up in the next few minutes, or cannot be talked about, because an AI will know exactly what is the student being receptive to, what is he's responding to, what is he not responding to, and all of those can be then channeled. And there is still a possibility that maybe somewhere the AI will falter and the student will be like, no, this is not working out for me. That is the point where we as developers come in, and we have to keep taking feedback from the first 4 generation or first 5 generation students. What did not work out for you? Where did the app lost interest for you? And there we have to then make arrangements and get other experts in as to where we failed, what we are not able to see, what is our keyhole perspective, what is that you can bring, and how can we broaden the perspective. So yeah, that is like an ongoing thing that we have to do all the time when we start deploying this system.
And what is your opinion on this, that it might enhance dependability on technology rather than coming from a place of scientific inquiry that one should cultivate in their attitude?
Okay, so that is the same thing that is, I think, applicable to any new tech that comes in the market. For example, when the smartphone came in, then it became about how won't the smartphones hamper students' growth? Or when the TVs come in, then it became like it's a stupid box. Or when the fast food come in, it is going to be. There is always going to be an element of addictiveness and dependability with any of the elements that are being introduced in the society at any point of time. But what matters is how are we going to take care of that? And that is going to be through active feedback system put in place. The AI, we have to, as developers, we have to make sure that our system is designed to not cause dependability. That lot of, like, for example, once we tell you should be taught this, shouldn't the app shouldn't tell you that you need to go here and do this or give ChatGPT responses. Rather than it should let the users speak, you need to go research into this, or this is your topic, so figure it out. The help that faculty can provide a student, that the same help will the app be able, the mentoring will be provided. And once we realize that, okay, in these sorts of ways, we are failing to not be able to keep them from addiction or dependability, there itself, we have to then course correct the app. Or, but at the same time, from the perspective of an user, some kind of responsibility also falls on the user, because all of it can't be absolved just to the developers of an app. It's the same thing. Thank you.
So it's a very thin line,
It's a very thin line, and we have
where to draw the line, when to stop, how to stop.
Yes,
Very thin
sir.
line. It's like
Yes, sir, absolutely, sir. And it can only come through a practical application of it. Because in theory, we can draw these lines, but in practical, it will get smudged very easily.
I really liked your idea because you talked about bridging social inequalities. Okay, so this project costs something to the institution or to your customer. So ultimately, if we are taking it to the rural areas, say for example, I'm not getting into the logistics of it, but if we are to take this, I look at this as a solution to this whole conversation about हमारे स्कूल में bench नहीं है, board नहीं है, teacher नहीं है, space नहीं है, etc. etc. Do you see possibilities of doing this not for profit? Is the question.
To answer this question, ma'am, when you pointed out that some people claim that we don't have benches, we don't have chalkboards, we don't have chairs to sit in rural colleges, this question that can you do it for not for profit can't be asked to the manufacturers of the chalkboard or the benches or the other equipments that you just talked about. That morality now falls on the society as to what government is. For example, in rural education for central universities, the government is funding it. IITs have better technology than other colleges, private colleges, some private colleges as well. Now the government is funding all of it. Now, for the same way, when we go to approach it to the universities, it is up to the university to determine where the cost falls upon.
I understand. I'm asking you, is there a possibility that you might, because this is still a college project, which you might take to the market tomorrow, or we are sitting here in a dialogue about peace and justice. So I'm exhorting you to think about the possibilities of making it a not-for-profit
Ma'am, the kind of
branch.
yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Otherwise, you will also fall under the government regulations for CSR, and I will come to you for funds.
Yes,
For providing the same benches and blackboards and books.
correct, ma'am. So,
or I can take your technology to those places, because that is equity. That if these students have this technology, because this college gave birth to this technology in a way, can we also think about, there's no mandate, there's no regulation, there's no pressure. I'm asking you to think about a possibility.
well, ma'am,
Please do.
Never say
Thank
never.
you, thank you,
so-
team. I think we are really short on time. Thank you. They come all the way from Pondicherry. Give them a big hand. Great job. So we are on to the next participant.
You all, very good evening. I'm Kuganathan from MASH. So the time is allocated for me is 2 minutes. So I do a 2 minutes presentation. Okay. We have developed a new technology. A technology is a light signal technology. A technology is nothing but an electronic device that provides a solution for a 37 years old problem. So what is a 37 years old problem? Imagine you're driving a vehicle, car, bike, scooty. I'm the traffic police officer. I stopped your vehicle. I want to check your driving license and vehicle document. What would you do? You show paper document, image from mobile. Some people maintain document from DigiLocker or Yam Parivahan app. My question is whether you show hard copy, soft copy, or from a DigiLocker or Yam Parivahan app, you have to stop your vehicle, right? Without stopping your vehicle, is it possible for any vehicle user in India to convey their driving license and vehicle document to the traffic police officer while you drive your vehicle that is on the move? Police, this is my DL, this is my insurance, this is my RC, please don't stop me. Is it possible? No. Second question, already you are busy in computing. If we ask you to stop, are you ready to stop? Okay, you stop. You showed your document. But I take 5 to 10 minutes in verifying your documents, right? Are you ready to waste your time? Okay, you spent your time. What happens after verifying the document? I turn and stop another vehicle, auto, car, or lorry. Are you ready to follow me? Are you ready to argue with me? Or if I do something, what you will do? That means what? I'm asking 100 or 200 rupees bribe. Are you ready to pay 100 or 200 rupees for nothing? If you think, okay, why should I stop my vehicle? Why should I waste my time? Why should I pay bribe? Why should I unnecessarily argue with the traffic police officer when I'm busy in commuting? Then VDIT is the perfect solution. How? VDIT is an electronic device. It bridges the technology gap between the motorist and the traffic department. How? If you install the device in your vehicle, the device transmits your driving license and the vehicle document through light signal to the traffic police officer. If it does so, will you stop your vehicle? No. Will you argue with police? No. Does it save your time? Yes. So obviously you don't need to pay any bribe. Okay. So you will have a seamless commuting if you install the device in your vehicle, everything through light. Okay. So how does it help the traffic department? Before that, I want to ask you one single question to the entire 28 states traffic department in India. They are the legal entity, right? They are the government, right? They have all the technology, right? AI, CCTV camera, device, app, sensor, RFID chip, whatever it may be. Then why they are still performing manual verification on road from Kashmir to Kanyakumari till date? Because information is not readily available through their normal eyesight. They have to depend upon any AI CCTV camera or device. So how our device helps a traffic department? If the device installed in the vehicle, by seeing the device live, they will easily identify the vehicle documents and the driver status by just seeing through normal eyesight without stopping any vehicle, without checking any document, without seeing a CCTV camera, without using any device, app, RFID chip, camera, or sensor. By just seeing through normal eyesight, they will come to know, okay, this vehicle has all the document, go. This vehicle does not have insurance, stop. This vehicle has all the document, but the driver who drives the vehicle is a minor. The driver who drives, he didn't renew the driving license. That is enough. So, thus, we did. It not only helps the 35 crore registered vehicle in India, it also helps the 28 states traffic department. So, one device solution to motorists and the traffic department. Thank you.
Thank you, team. Next, we have AVIT. That is the final team for the day.
Hello, I'm Jayashree, and this is my teammate Adarsh. Our topic is basically peace and technology. We are focusing on cyber security. So it is quantum safe encryption methods. Let's start with a use case. Start thinking from 10 years from now. World's top 5 banks wake up to total chaos. All the billions of dollars vanish from international transactions. Authentication systems bypassed. Security keys exposed. And all the transaction logs altered with no trace of traditional hacking. How? A quantum computer running Shor's algorithm breaks through the RSA encryption efficiently, like a child breaking through a piggy bank. Now, the RSA encryption is basically the foundation of our digital security system, which keeps our data secure. For now, that is. Now, this attack that just happened right now didn't need any phishing or malware. It just exploited the very foundation of our digital security systems. Now, had the world opted for quantum safe encryption methods before or prior, this breach could have been prevented. That's the wake-up call we're responding to with our quantum safe cybersecurity framework. Now, you might ask me, why a quantum safe encryption method? While quantum computer itself is not in the mainstream yet. The thing is, because of this sole technique called harvest now, decrypt later technique, which means that any data that you intercept now can be saved and stored and later decrypted when the quantum computers mature, which is really essential in sectors like banking, healthcare, or defense. So our roadmap to engineer peace into digital world involves assessing quantum computers' impact in existing encryption techniques and developing a quantum safe encryption method, and then ensuring that there is a smooth transition for industries and governments to move from classical or existing encryption methods to a quantum safe encryption techniques. So fortunately, we do have a few solutions. We call them quantum safe cryptography. To name a few, we have lattice-based, hash-based, code-based, and if you want to go specifically for network security, we have one called quantum key distribution. Now, using these, you can develop a solution which can encounter the quantum attacks and provide you with enough security against these quantum threats. Now, the thing is, you need to, once you develop such a solution, you need to ensure that there is a smooth transition for all the governments and industries, because all their data has been secured with a traditional or classical encryption technique. To change that, it does not happen overnight. You cannot just tell everyone, you know what, we have a modern technology, change your encryption techniques. They won't go in one go. It doesn't happen overnight. That's the whole stuff. So you need to ensure that there is a seamless transition for all the governments and industries from what they're using to what they're going to be using. So you can do this by understanding the existing, all the systems that they're using and their vulnerabilities and updating their encryption. And you can come up with a hybrid. We said, you know what, let's just come up with a hybrid solution which combines both classical and the quantum safe encryption techniques. So the thing is, although we have quantum safe solutions, they have their own shortcomings. One of them being it's highly expensive to implement a new encryption technique. Secondly, it has high compatibility issues. With the encryption techniques that you have right now, it will throw hell lot of errors when you try to combine it. And thirdly, it faces a lot of resistance from industries and governments to change, mostly because it's expensive and it has very high compatibility issues. So we said, you know what? Let's model a system which is designed specifically to combine, its job is to combine the existing encryption technique and the quantum safe encryption technique. And for instance, I can give you an example. IBM and Cloudflare have tested hybrid post-quantum algorithm using Kuiper algorithm, offering quantum resilience, including and maintaining a smooth transition that is, it combines pretty well both the encryption techniques and also offers a quantum resilience. Secondly, to mitigate this high cost, we said, you know what, let's start with strict or major infrastructures and then expand it gradually to other sectors. For example, the NIST, National Institute of Standards and Technology, have rolled out post-quantum techniques and standards to critical infrastructures such as banking, defense, and finance, and healthcare. And then they plan to move to gradually extend it to other sectors to overcome this overwhelming cost. Finally, I would like to say that we create powerful systems to safeguard our safeguard our data, and not to begin or wage wars. Quantum technology is both an opportunity and a boon. It can both destabilize and uplift the world. It depends on the path that we choose. And we choose peace through technology. Thank you. I'm open and happy to any questions.